What if you found a notebook that could kill anyone just by writing their name? Most people would close it and walk away. White Yagami opened it and decided he was God. Welcome back to Adoogez. And today we're reviewing Death Note, the psychological thriller that made an entire generation question what justice actually means and whether the wrong person can do the right thing. Here's the premise. Completely spoiler-free. A genius high school student finds a supernatural notebook, writes someone's name inside it, they die. Simple concept, terrifying implications. He decides to use it to cleanse the world of criminals, and almost immediately, a mysterious detective known only as L starts hunting him. What follows is one of the most intense cat and mouse stories ever written. Death Note isn't a film, so traditional box office doesn't apply. But commercially, it's a phenomenon. The manga sold over 30 million copies worldwide. The anime drove record-breaking DVD sales in both Japan and the US in the mid-2000s. The Netflix live-action adaptation in 2017 drew massive viewership despite mixed reviews. Franchise-wide, Death Note has generated hundreds of millions in merchandise and licensing. This series didn't just sell. It built a global cult following that still holds today. Death Note opens a question and never closes it. Is killing criminals actually justice? Light believes yes. Absolutely, unconditionally, obsessively, yes. And the terrifying thing is, the show lets you agree with him, at least at first. That slow seduction of the viewer is intentional. You're not just watching Light become a monster. You're watching yourself consider whether he might actually be right. What makes this morally brilliant is that the show never tells you the answer. L represents traditional justice, procedure du process. Light represents results-based morality, taken to its absolute extreme. Neither side is clean, neither side is fully wrong. Death Note forces you to sit in that discomfort for 37 episodes, and it earns every single minute of that tension.
Yo, all these thoughts keep me up at night. Yeah, what am I doing? Did I do it right? Yeah.
The Light versus L dynamic is genuinely one of the sharpest pieces of writing in anime history. Every scene they share is a chess match. Every line of dialogue has a second meaning. Every moment of apparent cooperation is quietly a trap being set. The writing trusts its audience completely. It doesn't explain the moves to you. It lets you figure them out. And that respect for the viewer is what separates Death Note from almost everything else in its genre. The pacing of the first half is nearly perfect. Information is revealed deliberately. Suspense is built without cheap cliffhangers. The show understands that the scariest thing isn't action. It's two intelligent people who both know the other one is lying, but can't prove it yet.
Did I do it right? Yeah. All these thoughts keep me up at night. Yeah. I can't think straight, need the light.
Light Yagami might be the most compelling anti-hero in anime. Not because he's likable, but because he's understandable. You see his logic, you follow his reasoning, and then slowly, frame by frame, episode by episode, you watch that logic rot into something unrecognizable. His transformation isn't a dramatic switch, it's a gradual erosion, and that slow burn is what makes it so deeply unsettling. Ryuk, the Shinigami who dropped the notebook, deserves recognition too. He's not a villain. He's not an ally. He's a spectator, and his detached amusement at human self-destruction adds a layer of dark comedy that keeps the show from becoming suffocating. He is quietly one of the most well-constructed side characters in the genre. Now let's be honest, because this is Adoogez, and we don't sugarcoat things. The second half of Death Note, after a major character departure around episode 25, is a noticeable step down. The replacements for L, Nia, and Mello simply don't carry the same weight. The intellectual tension drops. The cat and mouse energy that defined the first half becomes more procedural, less electric. The final few episodes also feel somewhat rushed compared to the meticulous pacing of the earlier arcs. And Light's God complex, while intentional, occasionally tips from fascinating into frustrating, making it harder to stay invested in his trajectory. These aren't fatal flaws, but if you've ever wondered why people say Death Note falls off after a certain point, this is exactly why. So here's the final word. Death Note's first half is close to a perfect piece of psychological storytelling. The second half is good, not great, but taken as a whole, it's still essential viewing. It's still one of the most intellectually stimulating anime ever made. It asks questions that stay with you long after the credits roll. Adoogez gives Death Note a 8.8 out of 10. Solid S tier for the first half, strong a tier for the rest, a must-watch. Full stop. Here's the question I'm leaving you with today, and I genuinely want your answer in the comments. Was Light Yagami a visionary the world wasn't ready for, or just a killer with a god complex and a good jeep? Drop it below. I read every single one. And if you haven't subscribed to Adoogez yet, now's the time. We go deeper than the surface every single video. See you in the next one.